Alright, hello everyone, welcome again in Eng-Man YouTube channel. So in this video, we will continue our learning on CO2 sequestration model using CMG software. Previously, we have created or we have modified our model to make it from limited reservoir, limited aquifer to infinite aquifer. And we already run on the gem, and in this video, we will visualize the results. Okay, so I already call my file, and now I will just directly compare it with 2A case, the limited aquifer. So now we have both of them. Now I will place the infinite case on the dashboard, and I will add the limited case, drop it on dashboard. So we should have two windows. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so now we have two windows. Okay, we can see the difference. We are currently looking at pressure. They're the same. No, actually, they're not the same. Okay. Here, the pressure is around 12,600 kPa. Oh yeah, they're quite the same. But the scale is different here. All right, so now let's just directly, okay, check the display and play the pressure. On the right, we have limited aquifer. The pressure just go directly increases. Okay, the pressure increases because we have limited volume. So if we inject CO2, of course, the pressure will increase. On the left side, we have infinite aquifer. So if you inject something, maybe 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, the pressure hardly changes. The pressure hardly increases because you inject something very limited duration, but the volume is very huge, big. So yeah, the pressure hardly changes. Clear difference. What about gas saturation? Then go back and then play. Very different as well. On the right, you have, because of hysteresis trapping, the movement is very limited only in this area. You can see the yellow blocks there due to hysteresis trapping, and the red one, CO2 cannot go to the above section of this aquifer because of we have the boundary. So CO2 will accumulate on the top and then just spreads there. But because here on the left we have infinite aquifer, we have infinite volume on the right side, CO2's plume tends to extends farther. CO2 plume tends to migrate farther. But still we have some CO2 trap because of residual trapping, the yellow color. Very different, right? And gas saturation below the critical gas saturation or hysteresis trapping, very different as well. Go back to the start. All right. Interesting. This is the saturation 0.37, 0.36, more or less the same. But the CO2 is only propagates this far on the right, but on the left, CO2 can go farther. Okay. Lastly, I want to look at the gas mass density. Okay, very different. In this case, the gas mass density 540, here 975. So on the right, we have high density because of, high pressure. But on the left, we have lower density because of lower pressure. So that's why on the left, we have CO2. The CO2 has higher tendency to go up because of lower density, right? Compared to the right case. So on the right case, the density very high, 974, 970, very close to density of water. So that's why their movement as well is very limited compared to the left case. If you want to see the water density, 1,900. Okay. Yeah, because we have higher pressure again on the right compared to on the left. If we go to pressure again, we can also see the difference. On the left, we still have 12,000. On the right, we already have 44,000. All right. Time series, of course, we want to check the special history. Start with the limited reservoir, CO2 supercritical. Okay. And compare it with the hysteresis, I mean the infinite. Of course, in the case of infinite aquifer, we can inject more. Okay. Because we haven't reached the maximum bottom hole pressure constraint in the case of infinite aquifer. Okay, that's why we can inject more within the time frame of the injection period. But in the case of infinite limited reservoir, the volume is limited, so we arrive at the constrained bottom hole pressure very quickly. So that's why we inject more CO2 in the case of limited, I mean infinite aquifer. All right. Okay, and let's see the pressure. First wells, CO2 injector, well block pressure or well bottom hole pressure. You see the pressure very quickly reaches 44,000. You see the star, maximum bottom hole pressure constraint violated for well 1. Okay, that's why after that pressure stabilized on zoom. And then let's compare it with the infinite reservoir. You see the pressure hardly changes. The pressure stays at 12,700. Okay, let's check with block pressure. First with this one, the limited, the same, the infinite, the same. What about layer? With limited first, pressure, well block pressure, yeah, the same value. Yeah, same value. So between 44,000 kPa in the case of limited reservoir, limited storage, limited aquifer, and 12,700 in the case of infinite aquifer. So you see, we have difference in terms of pressure and the amount of CO2 that can be stored. Maybe we can also see difference in gas mass density, right? You can see that maybe in layer, or maybe well, do we have density? No. So what about layer? Okay. Groups. Block properties. Okay, so we have gas mass density inside the block properties. Okay, this one. Okay. So in the case of limited reservoir, limited aquifer, again it's 978, but with infinite, it has lower density of 570 something. Okay, so that's what we have. But the most interesting comparison is, of course, in this case, the saturation, in my opinion. Okay. All right, there you go. So I think we can call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. See you again in the next CO2 sequestration model videos. Thank you.